A very good evening and welcome. This is News First Primetime News here on MTV Sports. I'm Ramesh Bandara.
And I'm Krishna Panditaratna.
North Korea has ramped up rhetoric ahead of the UN vote on sanctions in response to its nuclear test.
And an Italian court sentences former Prime Minister Silvio Berlusconi to a 1-year jail term for making public taped contents of a confidential phone call.
Our details of these stories will be coming up on our primetime news tonight.
But first, let's start off with a look at the headlines.
Indian Premier says that whether India votes against Sri Lanka on the US-sponsored resolution depends on the wording of the resolution. 5 passengers obstructing duties of the railway security personnel remanded. Sri Lanka cricket instructed to annul the nomination of Upali Dharmadasa if the written approval of the minister is not received.
The Dravida Munitra Kalaham Party, or DMK, which is the ruling Congress's biggest ally in the United Progressive Alliance, walked out of the Lok Sabha while Minister of External Affairs Salman Khurshid was speaking. The move was to bring pressure on the central government to vote against Sri Lanka on a resolution expected to be moved by the United States at the United Nations Human Rights Council.
Please ensure our international inquiry is done. Sir, why can't India do it? Why are you threatening us, saying that China will come there, Pakistan will come there? Sir, China and Pakistan are already there. Sir, Tamil Nadu consists more than 8 crore people. We are looking at you. We are looking at you. We are asking you, what are you going to do? Our youth are looking at you to see what decisive decision you are going to take when it comes to the issue of the Sri Lankan Tamils. Shouldn't India take in the lead and come and put forward a resolution in the UN saying that we should take an inquiry into the plight of whatever happened during the war? Shouldn't we do that, sir?
India and Sri Lanka entered into Rajiv Gandhi Jaivartane Accord. This led to the 13th amendment to the Sri Lankan constitution. According to this amendment, the northern and eastern province of Sri Lanka were supposed to be merged. I want to know from the government whether this accord initiated by Sri Rajiv Gandhi is taking place in Sri Lanka or not. Yesterday even the Prime Minister, when he said this is not fulfilled, then what our government is doing?
What is your government's view? What is the view of Dr. Manmohan Singh? What government of India thinks as far as Sri Lankan Tamil issue is concerned? Please tell me. See, we have asked for Tamil Eelam. Yes, no doubt, we have asked for. You just tell one party who have not asked for Tamil Eelam here in this house. We were together. But at the same time, now, as of now, the point of issue is not for a separate Eelam now.
We have been affected. People who have been close to us in Sri Lanka have been badly mauled in this war. And the worst part is that the tragedy of the Sri Lankan Tamils continues.
The feelings of the House are feelings that we share. We share every little bit of the feeling of the House, but I must say that this involves both the heart and the head. We cannot be angry because this is a huge humanitarian problem to which our generation has to find a solution and help our friends in Sri Lanka find a solution. It is clear that we want Sri Lanka to be in peace. It is clear that we want all people in Sri Lanka, all citizens of Sri Lanka, particularly the Tamil citizens of Sri Lanka, to live in equal participation in a democracy that gives them dignity, comfort and closure for the wounds of the past. And whatever we do today must not tomorrow be thrown back at us, because this is a complicated world. Not everybody is our friend and not everybody is our enemy. We've actually talked about 13th Amendment plus We have not talked about 13th Amendment minus. The 13th Amendment in toto must be implemented, and hopefully we can then look at 13th Amendment plus. When a procedural resolution comes as a follow-up of last year's resolution, what is our position? Our position is we will take into account what all the honourable members have said. We will take into account what the Leader of Opposition has said. We will study this in terms of what developments on the ground have taken place, information that we collect which is authentic and reliable. We will put all that together. We will look at what Sri Lanka has to say. We'll see what other countries have to say, and then together we will come to a decision as to what is the best possible decision to take. And once we take that decision, we will share it with you.
Now, speaking in the Indian Parliament yesterday, Indian Prime Minister Dr. Manmohan Singh said that India's decision to vote on the draft resolution to be tabled by the United States at the 22nd session of the UN HRC would depend on its content.
As regards the issue of a draft resolution expected to be tabled by the United States at the forthcoming session of the UN Human Rights Council in Geneva, our decision will depend on the substance of the final text tabled in the Council.
Meanwhile, Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, Jayalalitha Jayaraman, alleges that Sri Lanka is attempting to intimidate India into not raising its voice against the atrocities on Tamils in Sri Lanka by arresting Indian fishermen. According to Indian media reports, in a letter to the Indian Prime Minister Dr. Manmohan Singh, Jayalalitha Jayaraman had said that the arrest of Indian fishermen and the recent firing should be viewed as an indirect attempt to intimidate the government of India. Indian media report has added that Jayalalitha was referring to the firing by the Lankan Navy at the Indian fishermen yesterday and said that it was highly unacceptable. Meanwhile, Sri Lankan Deputy Permanent Representative to the UN in Geneva, Manisha Gunasekara, says that Sri Lanka has taken multiple initiatives to investigate allegations of enforced disappearances. She made this statement during the interactive dialogue on enforced disappearances at the 22nd session of the UN HRC in Geneva, Switzerland.
Sri Lanka has taken multiple initiatives to address these allegations. They include strengthening the state's institutional framework to deal with all aspects of disappearances, streamlining the mechanism of entertaining complaints, and putting in place measures to investigate disappearances in a timely manner. The government has established an interagency working group to clarify cases of alleged disappearances brought to its attention and to take follow-up action as deemed necessary to bring finality to cases.
Cabinet media briefing held today, journalists questioned Minister K.L. Ramukwella regarding the group of persons who were obstructed from coming to Colombo to inquire into the disappearances of their loved ones.
Are you questioning what American embassy said?
No, not only American action, the overall thing has to be looked into as to what, whether this was, there was any truth or whether I'll have to check on that. As of now, I haven't got any information with regard to that.
But the question is that at the time when
yeah, correct, when the right
issues are being discussed in Geneva.
Yeah.
So isn't it sort of counterproductive? For
definitely, if that is the case, if that is the case, if that was the reason, and if the reason is not a valid reason, that has to be investigated for.
A special seminar on the right to information was held in Colombo yesterday. Here are some of the views expressed at the occasion.
4 years on after the war, they're asking the question, going round with photographs in their hands of their son's family, of their daughter's family. And they said, we were there when they surrendered. They were registered and they were taken. We don't know where they are. Find out and let us know where they are. At least tell us whether they are alive or not. Channel 4 has come up with third or the fourth footage. Sri Lanka screams, don't use the UN compound screen. Why not? Why say don't inquire? Don't have an inquiry. Don't have an inquiry into war crimes. Which of these panelists here will say have an inquiry into war crimes today? Aren't people entitled to that information?
The country needs democracy. The people have appetite for information. People have appetite for transparency. People have appetite for good governance. This is a subject that's coming up now. There is no politics involved in this. It's not necessary that they should take our bill. By all means, the government bill is good enough, but also the salient features should be included. Then, of course, I must say that we can be satisfied that we live in a country with fully fledged democracy.
I'm not opposed to a bill being presented. I'm not opposed to this bill of Honorable Karuja Surya. I am not representing the government here. Therefore, I will say I support the right to information bill. But this law alone is unlikely to give us what we want to know and what we want to see as democratic governance. The quality of the transformation of the society from a semi-feudal, semi-colonial to a democratic stage would be the only guarantee how we can find this transparency and the right to information and the right of participation of the people in the governance.